I had a teacher once, and you write down your paper, your opinion, and I got a C minus because the bitch said my opinion was wrong.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when I say bitch, I mean no disrespect to dogs.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to another episode of Old Black Men Conversations, or Old Black Man Conversation if you see somebody just talking to themselves. My name is David Harold Dudley III. Some people call me Sweet Sunny D. Some call me Delightful Dave. Some even call me Friend. You are?
A friend. And also the real Cliff Barnes. And I'm here with my friends, and this one is...
Yes, last week I fooled you guys. You guys probably heard me forget who I am. That was just a joke. I'm Gary No, that's street philosopher. I almost said the real street philosopher.
You could be the real street as opposed to the
I ain't got to explain myself to nobody.
perpetrator. There's a lot of people.
And that's why you like those red balloons.
Because of.
But they're
You have
not.
to explain
But
something
they're
to everybody.
94 short.
So I have a question for you right off the bat. I also have a rant, which I'll get into later.
How do you spell it?
IT. How do you spell it?
U.S.
That's us.
You, when you say you're not old, what are you referring to? In terms of you don't feel old, you don't look old, you're not getting old, or what? Because last time I remembered, last week, you were old. Now this week, you're not old.
See, that's your opinion.
That's correct.
Touche!
I'm a freaking street philosopher, that's right.
That makes sense.
Well, I'm just referring to it's a state of mind. You know what I mean? Like, can you do this shit here with the music?
Okay, I
And
can,
be on rhythm.
I can, but last time I tried that, McDonald's messed up my...
Even when you
That
dance, you
sounds like
can't.
a personal problem with me.
Even when you dance, you can't get.
How's
the
your
right.
order of these? Did you get it straight?
Yeah, I got it straight today.
Okay, why? It's more entertaining when they screw up your order. More entertaining for me.
But because he didn't get a sandwich.
Right.
They always get the drink right.
Yeah.
Oh, but you didn't get the sandwich, so.
No.
Right.
So
But you
there's-
got what you ordered.
Yeah.
Where's the fun in that?
There isn't, except it
well,
tastes good.
for us, it's kind of fun.
Some of you may know this reference. He's no fun. He fell right over. That's a Fireside Theater
Pretty
reference for you that don't
pretty
know.
obscure reference. Yes, indeed.
Speaking of Super Bowl, how'd you like it?
I enjoyed it. I had no vested interest
Right.
in who won or lost.
No.
The only thing I wanted the Super Bowl to be good, but better than the commercials, and I wanted the commercials to be great. So I think I got half my.
Most of them were okay. What about halftime? Did you like?
It was long. By the way, for those of you that don't know, I could probably sing, but I'm afraid of heights. So that's probably why I don't sing.
That's why you didn't go into the business.
That's probably why I don't go sing.
They gonna put me up there. I can't
It
do
was
it.
good. It
Oh
was,
man, she was she up there or what?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
She was pregnant.
That part I didn't understand. I didn't watch. I didn't see it. I haven't gone and looked it up.
When I looked at it, because I didn't look at it when it happened. But when I got all of these texts about, look at her, look how big she is, blah blah blah. And then of course your niece, she was the first one that said, anybody that don't realize she's pregnant is crazy. I went, that was out of the blue.
Well, apparently she
You know,
is.
they've been talking about it, but the thing is, I'm like, why would they? Her being pregnant and let's not forget, worth $1 billion. Why is she up there? That seems dangerous.
Because well, they had her tied off.
I don't. Yeah.
They did.
They had her tied off.
Yeah.
What do you
A,
mean tied
a
off?
safety line.
Oh,
I get it.
When
she
you
had-
said that, I seen TIDEOFF, and I see the box of the orange and
Tied.
everything.
Or remember there
Could have been that too. You know, they had to get her clothes clean.
Remember there used to be a NASCAR that was tied. They sponsored a NASCAR race.
Yeah, but that's not a human.
Okay, all right, but here's the thing. When
What are you
you
trying to say? She's not a human?
What am I trying to say, sir?
when you say you're not old, what are you comparing that to? Like redwoods, sequoias,
Dirt.
dinosaurs,
Dirt.
dirt.
Yeah.
My sister with the white hair, that you see her on TV from the back on a Zoom broadcast, and the whole world goes, hey, is that your sister right there? And I look at it and go, look like it. So I text her to see if it's her. And she has the audacity to wait till the service is over to say, yeah, it's me.
Well, what would have been the difference if the service would have been still going?
Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about?
I have no idea.
The show's called It Starts.
You know what? Never mind. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep talking.
The show is old men that should experience.
That's why we're dealing with
Yeah.
No, well, you
Yeah,
asked me a
yeah.
question. I'm just saying that
Right.
that last Sunday,
Okay.
my sister was on a Zoom broadcast with her back to the camera.
Oh, okay. I missed the
Okay.
part about the Zoom broadcast.
Yeah.
Oh, I caught that.
Okay, I did. I'm slow.
I did. I didn't get the transition.
Right. That's why. That's
That-
why. I
that's-
was like, I said, are you comparing the LA? And then we got the Zoom thing with.
So you saying she's old because she didn't respond until it was over?
Not only that, but she had white hair.
Well.
Okay, you know what? You my dad and I love you, but I'm finna poke holes in all your theory right here.
So,
Because
you would-
you don't have no hair because you cut it off, but I know what's going on if it grew.
It would be white if it were there.
And you don't be answering not never. You call back the next day, talk about you called.
You called. Good thing it wasn't.
Yeah, 15 times.
Good thing it wasn't an emergency.
So that means tomorrow I get a call from you saying, I got your message. But I'm here now.
No, actually, I just seen it.
You did? Okay. Okay.
Oh, but that's all right.
Well,
I think that age is a blessing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I
it is.
think so.
And a curse.
And you know what else? I enjoyed the Super Bowl, but I think what I enjoyed most was
Excuse
the
me.
two black quarterbacks, and the one just sticking it in all the critics' ear because they say what they always say about the black quarterbacks.
Yeah,
But he's a runner. He can't really throw. His arm is. He doesn't have any leadership.
that was a pretty good
abilities.
throw downfield for that touchdown. I
You
don't
know
know
what
that.
I'm saying? So
And you know what? You just said was the downside for me because one of the brothers had to lose. So,
Exactly.
Well, I understand
You
that,
know.
but
Exactly,
still the
but
fact
still.
that
Yeah.
they was both there.
yeah.
They was both there,
And
and
they
they
both
both
with
was real
dignity.
QBs.
And they both had really good games.
Yeah,
And the one quarterback doesn't play defense, so he didn't lose the game.
No,
No, he did his part.
pretty much. So yeah, but it was still a historic thing.
yeah.
And then you had the two Kelsey boys.
Oh,
Brother.
yeah. They're
Brother
running
and
off fast.
brother. I said it was brother and brother. No, the brothers are the
They're
quarterback.
twins,
yeah.
right?
No.
No,
How come they look alike?
because they're related.
Take that up with DNA. Let me see. I got them on speed down.
They're related.
They're brothers.
But the one that plays for Philadelphia is a big brother.
Yeah. He even looks
Jason,
big.
Jason is the oldest, and Travis is the little brother.
So
Yeah.
who do you think is the oldest of the McDaniel brothers?
I'm sorry.
McDaniel brothers?
No, I heard you. I'm just sorry. You asked me that damn question.
Which McDaniel? Who we talking about?
Jalen McDaniels and Jaden McDaniels. One played for the UW, one played for San Diego State.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
Jalen got traded to the 76ers,
yeah.
and Jaden starts for the Timberwolves.
Who was born? Who was born
Oh
first?
yeah, now I remember.
Which one was born first?
I don't know, they look alike to me.
So
Let me get you that deed right now.
no, the deal is, one of them had to be born first.
What if they could have been born
No, they could not have been
That's
born
impossible.
together. That's it,
How do you figure?
That's not the way the universe works.
and that's not the way
So-
science
so-
and biology works.
Well,
One
wait a
has to
minute.
come out, then the other one.
Yeah.
Well, how come they can't come out the same?
'Cause there ain't no room.
There, well,
Well, if they do a C-section,
no, you'd have to do a whole, yeah, you know.
They would need to have identical and biblical cards.
Okay,
Like everything
okay.
in the womb.
Okay, but the deal is, in order for, even if you do a C-section, in order for them to come out exactly at the same time, you'd have to have two people say 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, they're still gonna pull one out, then the other one.
And that's impossible.
And then what if they're stacked
but if
on
they're
each
both
other?
hitting the air at the same time,
But they both can't.
They-
In time-space continuum, they both can't occupy the
Same
same
space.
space.
They could occupy the same womb,
Right.
but they can't occupy the same space within that.
Not the way the universe works, the way we think we understand it.
Right.
Do you understand it differently?
yes.
What a stupid question.
You know, that was perfect. Do you understand it differently? Yeah. What a stupid question. Actually, I mean, you can ask anybody that. That means you understand the universe differently? I do. All right.
God.
Well, yeah, that's it though. You know, I mean, it's all biology and
Other shit.
um,
OS. Biology OS.
Yeah.
AOS.
Yeah, so,
So anyway, one of them has to be older than the other one, even if it's a minute or two. Usually with identical twins like that,
Yeah.
that's the way it is. And then that's, as they grow up, they're like, well, I'm the oldest. What, by 2 minutes? And then they get into a little argument and fight. I've seen a lot of twins do that.
yeah, I like the Smothers Brothers, I can do that.
The Smothers brothers aren't twins.
Well, they're not anymore.
They weren't ever twins.
Okay, stay focused, Gary. Stay focused.
They were.
When
They were never twins.
Well, how come Mom liked the one better then?
Because that one was first. The other one hadn't been born yet. So then the younger one would say, Mom always liked you best because, well, you were there before I was.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Well, that's the theory, you know. That's theoretically you're not supposed to have a favorite child, but all
That's bull.
all humans do.
That's a bunch of bull.
I don't think, but that's what people go, well, which one is your favorite? And they're both sitting there. You're not going to sit there and go, well, I've always liked this one.
Yeah.
And the other one's going to go, well, you know, but see, that's it. Because, like, you know, when my kids, for instance, you know, I said, well, which one's your favorite? I said, well, that's my favorite son, and that's my favorite daughter.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit there and make that choice. You know,
Well,
Yeah.
you know?
so
Yeah,
what
what you
should
mean?
Megan say? She can say that's her favorite son, but she got 4
Oh,
daughters.
daughters, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's
I have in my mind which one's her favorite, but I'm not gonna say it.
well. A lot of times it's the oldest because they were there first, and you know you bonded and got, you know. But sometimes the old one just falls off the cliff, and the second one moves up to the favorite spot. So you know.
Yeah.
Well, her oldest, they have a very funny relationship because her oldest, I don't, you know, identifies as whatever. in that category.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but whenever she hits Megan up, or hits my sister up, she'll be like, "Mom, can I borrow $20?" And my sister won't respond in a timely manner according to her daughter, and she'll reply with, "Why are you being mean to Mom? You're being very homophobic." And that's just like, this is my child. What is wrong?
You know,
How about this? I don't want to give you no money.
Yeah. There was a group out there called Cheap Trick, and
They
that's probably how they got started. Speaking of,
getting started. What?
what was I getting ready to ask you?
Something about cheap tricks.
Segway.
Oh,
We don't do segway.
we'll get back to that. Yeah. We don't do segues.
No.
Have you ever thought about becoming a Muslim?
Not seriously, and not in a while. When I was younger, like at the barbershop, one of our good friends, we call him Cookie, would come in. He always have a Muslim speak, and you know he
Muhammad speak.
Muhammad speaks,
There you go.
and some of the cats, and this is real talk for you young folks out there, thought he was nuts. Oh, that old man don't know. But he was speaking the truth, but we did not know how to understand it,
How to process
how to
it.
process
Yeah.
the truth. I'm getting to an answer. I'm getting closer to it. So I guess the thing is, for me, following the teachings of Reverend Farrakhan,
Farrakhan.
Yeah.
I guess I
They
don't
really
have a
won't.
natural hatred of Jews per se. It's like,
You don't believe they didn't kill our baby Jesus?
Wait, ask that question again.
I don't know.
You don't believe
it
they
wasn't-
did it?
It wasn't what. Did they do that? Because they don't believe there ever was one.
That's why they killed him.
Yeah, okay. If they don't believe that that was who he was.
you mean did they kill the ideology that he existed?
No.
No,
The physical person.
Right.
He's saying the physical person was hung on the cross and the Jews did it. Because in the,
Because if they hadn't pressured what's his name, he wouldn't have done it.
but who?
Pontius Pilate.
Oh, that wasn't no pressure. That was just come here, dude.
Yeah.
You know, here's your. What was it?
Well,
30
Well, no, because
30
they
years
pressured
ago.
him,
Well,
and it was like, let Barabbas go, the actual
Right.
criminal. It was like, let him go and hang Jesus, and he was like,
Right.
I don't really.
Scenario?
Yeah, and no, in that area of the world
No, everybody wasn't Jewish.
before Christianity, everybody was Jewish in that area.
Looking at me, I don't know it like this.
And then you got to remember, Christianity came from Christ. Okay, so the people that were Jewish and not following,
They were Jews and Gentiles.
yes.
Um,
And then the Christianity came. That's why the First Testament of the Bible and the stories and the same things in the other religious books practically parallel. Or, you know, I mean, it's a lot of the same characters, but then the issue was the New Testament.
so I have a side question. Are you cherry picking because do you believe Jesus walked on water? Do you believe in it rained fish to feed everybody? The burning bush. Do you believe all of that, or are you only?
Or the Ten Commandments in stone.
Yeah, because we know there was more than 10. That's why a lot of it doesn't make sense. There's 5 that are missing, and that would help explain a whole lot of shit.
Like what?
Well, for one, it would explain why some things are sins.
Like?
practically everything we wanted to
Well,
do.
yeah, I guess everything was a damn sin.
Depending on your religious beliefs and all of the religion, practically everything humans want to do would be a sin to somebody,
Right.
to somebody's beliefs. So
So, what happened to the Muslims?
what happened to them?
They're still,
That was the original question.
or do I believe?
No, the original question was, have you ever thought of being?
Oh, you're right. I thought I'd be the
Okay, I'm like, what happened to the Muslims? I don't.
Yeah.
When was that a question? Okay.
No, what happened to the question of whether or not
Yeah,
you ever
what-
thought about being a Muslim? 'Cause then,
not seriously.
which I think you said that earlier.
Yeah, and I'm not sure, and I was puzzled by that answer. Not seriously, what does that mean?
I had a teacher once, and you write down your paper, your opinion, and I got a C- because the bitch said my opinion was wrong.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And when I say bitch, I mean no disrespect to dogs.
That's
Shit.
funny.
Okay, so I'm starting to kind of feel like I'm afraid to give you my true. No, I'm not. Just we're doing a bit here. So, but my opinion is wrong. Look at you, man. You're all you little shit. You have no right to have that opinion.
Well, what about you? You ever thought of being a Muslim?
Yeah, more than once.
And did you act upon it? Did you renounce Christianity and then?
No, but I did go do some research,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same thing. I also more than once thought about becoming a preacher and starting my own religion along the same lines. You did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's not unusual. That's not uncommon. Does that mean that happened because you've had some background in religious or theology, whatever, and at some point in time you didn't understand it, you didn't like it, or it didn't make sense to you, so you're saying, okay, I'm going to,
Explore other religions?
yeah.
Kind of, sort of, but it was really more along the lines of, they sure are making a lot of money doing that. How can I do that?
Well, yeah.
Huh.
Now you can do it.
That looks like that could be right, but hey,
Now you can do
how
it.
come I'm hearing, ooh, well, let me just step back.
Okay, what you said was so poignant. Could that be the reason why it's hard to get young people
More
into
than
the
likely.
church?
More than likely.
Because of bullshit like that.
More than likely.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But that still doesn't take away from the fact.
But that's more the
that-
exception than the rule, isn't it?
I don't know if it's more the exception than the rule, but I do know that most folks, I think, at some point explore within themselves about what they actually believe and what they feel and what they're hearing from what they can perceive as the universe.
And things change as you get older.
yeah.
I mean, when you're a little kid, you know, it's like they tell you be like a little robot, but as you get older and start thinking for yourself,
Right.
you explore. It's like, well, hey, I was baptized at 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Now I'm 18.
Yeah.
Now, do I still have the faith I had at 8?
Or
Now at 18,
or even
so
more.
you explore. You know.
Or did I
Even
have
more.
faith at 8?
Right. Exactly.
But
Right.
I wanted to make my grandmother happy, my parents happy. I wanted to disappoint Aunt
All the-
so-and-so.
All the other kids in Sunday school were
Right.
doing it. I mean,
Right.
really. I mean, it's,
But you know what?
there's a lot of different
there was
things when
one
you're that
point-
young.
Yeah.
There was one point where I was convinced, because there was so much, living on an Air Force base, a SAC base, I don't know if you all know what that means.
Strategic
But-
Air Command. Anyway.
But the shit was crazy. It was crazy, right? But I was convinced for about 6 months to a year, I would walk into a room and I was convinced that the universe or somebody was telling me, y'all need to do something about this. This is wrong. Don't go out there and do this. And I was actually afraid. I was like, I'm just gonna sit right here, not move, make sure who else is around me because I'm not sure what the hell is going on here. But I was convinced.
How old were you?
Probably 10.
So I mean, it was like by 10, your values are pretty much almost formed, because you look back on it and you go like, okay, a lot of the things that I believed at 10, I still believe as far as life, not necessarily religion. But the whole thing is, your values are formed. In other words, you have a sense of right and wrong, your own sense of right and wrong. So at 10 years old, your values are formed. However, your mind and all of that is still developing. So you're learning about and learning new things, in a sense, daily.
And you could have been chosen.
Huh?
What you experience is real. You could have been chosen because that's the right age. You're old enough to process. You're old enough to start forming an opinion. Here's a prime example. Old folks used to do to us. Boy, don't you smoke.
Right.
Well, you're smoking. You don't do what I say. You don't do what I do.
Exactly.
And so it's
Exactly.
like you go out there as a child, like then they try to get you to do something. You're like, oh, hypocrite! I ain't doing that. I mean, you telling me that's bad for me, but look at you. You ain't getting nowhere. You borrow money from me to go get cigarettes and shit.
In our generation, for the most part, think about it, a lot of us were not allowed to have an opinion until
True
we
that.
got older.
True that.
That's part of that do as I say and not as I do situation.
Well, I
So you
sort
weren't
of agree
allowed
with that
to.
to a point, except I was, in my estimation, I was given carte blanche to think for myself. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, but you got to mind your own, boy.
Okay, now did that seem strange to you, being from a military family on a military base with military being structured, as it were, top and bottom? Did that feel strange to you, or
No, and I'll tell you why it didn't feel strange. Because my dad was an automatic rebel. My dad was in constant trouble. Because he refused to bend. If they said go left, he would go right.
Right, and but the thing is, that's the military. You are trained to obey orders without question.
Yeah, and what I found out was that there were a lot of my dad's relatives who all went into the same branch of the service at the same time. So they're like first cousins or whatever. There was a bunch of them, like 12, 13 of them.
Wow.
But all of them had that same mindset. I mean, they were patriots, don't get me wrong, but go left, no, we're going right.
Because you want to,
okay,
but that's not
That's
the
not normal.
military way.
Right.
Yeah, it's not normal.
Right? So that's
Right.
why it's a very rebellious situation, because, it's like, hey, if I say, I want you to go over here and do this,
Then you're going to do it.
you go do it, and you don't say, well, why should we do that? Why don't we do it this way?
Yeah.
Once again, your opinion don't count.
No,
Because this is what we do, and this is what we have been doing, and
Yeah.
it takes a whole lot to change.
The military
and the change
doesn't-
has to go up from the top down. We can't change it if
no,
we're.
you're not trained to quit. You're trained to react. Shoot the chair.
Well,
I mean, with nobody in it.
but I did, going back to way back to whenever the heck we started this rant, I did, at various points, stop. Got the Muhammad Speaks, read all that, went to the temple over on wherever the heck it was over there, and I did it just like I went to the normal church, and what I found out was as part of my learning, growing process is, although they had the uniforms on and they had did this and that, the difference between a Baptist slash Methodist slash COGIC and the Muslims was the uniforms. The rhetoric
Certainly.
was the same.
But see, that's what I was saying. In all of the Quran and the Torah and the Bible, the first part, the Old Testament, you read them, they're very similar. In some cases, like even the names of the characters and the stories are the same. The difference is none of those other people believe in the New Testament. Okay, the Jewish religion has there's no Jesus in their book.
Unless your name is Tony.
You know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I ain't never considered becoming a Muslim, but the reason why, I mean, because I be having, ever since I was a kid, I have questions about Christianity. I have questions
Well, of course.
because there's some stuff just don't make no sense to me. But I know we'd like to lean on that. Well, God's understanding is higher. I get that, but then I don't like that I understand some of the book and don't understand other parts. But that aside, I never thought about becoming Muslim. One, because these niggas was wearing suits and bow ties
Right.
and
All the
kufis everywhere.
Everywhere.
And I was just like, not a thing.
No.
Two, I associated Muslim with bean pies. I think bean pies are stupid. So, I'm just being honest. Like, this was my thought process as a kid.
I gotta go get back on the special bus.
I don't want to do it.
My big time.
And then number three,
Back on the bus.
you said that, the rhetoric is all the same between all the things. Here's what's not the same in anywhere but in black Christian church. The music.
Well,
I'm not finna leave church to go to wherever y'all go, all buttoned up too tight for me, and not hear the jams, not feel it. Like, that's not what I want to do. So I never considered. I'm like, no,
It's not.
I'm good.
well, I don't remember any music in a Muslim church.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't.
Why do I want to go there?
And then a lot of other offshoots of Christianity.
Yeah.
You
But you know
they-
what? I
they-
always thought,
They celebrate differently.
right, but I always thought the best preacher I've ever heard, even to this day, is Farrakhan.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
That
He's
brother
an
can
amazing
preach.
speaker.
He's eloquent.
There's
Yeah.
no doubt. But the whole thing is whether or not you believe what he's,
Yeah.
whether or not you picking up what he's putting down.
Do you believe there's any tribe or race that is good all the time or bad all the time?
Not if they're human.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Well, that for me, that goes right back to this thing of
You
you got the
evil
Old
everywhere.
Testament and the New Testament, right?
Right.
If you really examine it and look at it and really look at it objectively, the Old Testament God is not the same as the New Testament God.
So what does that
And
tell
if-
you?
And if we are made in His image, that means we got some good, we got some bad, and we merge together.
Or
But
we evolved from one species, right? And we invented God to control people or to try to explain what we
Right.
can't explain, like you mentioned,
things happen, yeah.
the money. So if I can get you to believe that every time I pet my knee, your crops will grow better, right? If I can get you to believe that, have I created God for you?
I'm not connecting with what you're saying here.
Okay.
Did you ever see a movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy?
With a guy walking around with a bone in his nose.
Well, I don't know if he had a bone in his nose, but remember he was trying to. He thought the Coke bottle made everything go bad, so he was trying to take a Coke because somebody threw a Coke bottle out of an airplane or something, and he's in the dirt and lamp, and so this is a young African kid, and so he picks it up, and then bad things start happening, and then so that was where they were saying the gods. Not the God, not God. The gods must be crazy because he had that Coke bottle, and he thought that was the reason everything was going wrong. So you look at it, like in Japan, they said the emperor, God, and you got emperor, whatever religion that they were referring to. Muhammad was supposed to be next to God. Okay, so I mean that's the whole thing. It's a human thing. Like throughout all populations or whatever, you're going to have so many different variations and interpretations of what or who God is. And the thing is, you say, well, in some people's mind, when you're talking about you take the good and the evil and you combine it, well, in some people's mind, God can do no wrong. There is no bad. It's all good.
Right.
All goodness comes from God. It's all.
So who is this angry being in the Old Testament? Who is this angry being in the Old Testament?
I don't know. Might have been Lucifer. Remember, they kicked him out.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't Lucifer.
I'm speculating. I do not know
Yeah.
about that which you speak.
Yeah, I don't really know who you mean. Who's
You
the
know,
angry
but
person?
God,
saying.
in the Old Testament and the New Testament,
Right.
there's an old God and a new God.
But
Okay.
The old God is a kind of an angry, vengeful.
See, when people say that though, was it vengeful? Because listen,
If you don't
if
do
God
it,
says this is the law and this is what's going to happen if you don't follow the law,
Right.
is it vengeful or did you just get what he said was going to happen if you did X, Y, Z? Then come the New Testament, he said, okay, my son's going to die so that you don't have to
right.
die because of this. So I don't know if it was necessarily vengeful so much as it was he did what the hell he said he was. Hell, I'm sorry, Lord. I can't say hell and God. Okay, he did what he said he was going to do, as opposed to now, he's like, all right, you get a pass because my son died.
Well, yeah.
I don't. That's why I don't think that was necessarily different. I think
That's why.
or different gods,
That's
just different
why
way.
only Christians believe in the New Testament.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was the Bible was written by humans, right?
Yeah.
And there was rewrites. And there's probably
Translated.
a good example. Brigham Young, right? Brigham Young, if you were black or Native American at the time, you couldn't be an elder or whatever
Or a bishop.
or a bishop
But you could play in
until
a
they
basketball
discovered
team.
basketball.
Well, of course.
Then all of a sudden, John Smith had an epiphany. Oh yeah, well, let's let him in. But
You have all kinds of things. It's like caffeine was bad until you acquired Coca-Cola.
yeah.
I mean, man manipulates religion
For his yeah.
own purposes.
I was trying to say, that's what I was trying to say earlier. It's if I can manipulate you, then I can get you to. If I can get you to believe what I want you to believe, kind of like what you just said. Okay, you believe Hitler was a genius, but I know what you meant. You didn't mean that literally. Hitler was a gangster, but he would thug you into his way. Does that make him a good leader? Because it's like I just kill you.
And then what about Jamestown?
I think the best way to say it makes him great at what he was doing,
Yeah.
which was mass genocide, and he was great at it.
He was very good at it, and he was very good at picking the right people to do what he wanted to have to do.
Right.
But what about Jamestown? And the Reverend
Kool-Aid.
Was it
Jim
Jim
Jones.
Jones
Yeah,
and
Reverend
and-
Kool-Aid.
Jim
and-
Jones.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then there's a lot of other cults and things. I mean, humans are very,
Remember Dave Dominic?
yeah,
So his mother and my grandmother lived in Rainier Vista, the old Rainier Vista,
yeah,
and they lived right across from each other in the same little pod. The Jim Jones people came through there recruiting people.
yeah. He was
And,
branching out. I know, yeah.
Dominic's mother went with him over there.
I know. I have another guy that I went to elementary school and junior high school, and his mother went.
Now my grandmother,
Wow.
my grandmother asked. I remember her
That's true.
specifically asking me about them. I didn't know who they were, but she said, "Yeah, these people come by, and they're going overseas. And they're going to do this. They want me to give them all this money and blah blah blah."
Well, I wanted to give them all your
And she said,
valuable
what
possessions.
do you think about that? I said, I think they're crazy.
Okay, since both of you, and I don't, have experience with the Jim Jones recruiters, the people that you know, were they already going to a church on a regular basis?
Yeah.
So what happened that these Jim Jones people could even have a chance to have that conversation with them?
Because they mixed in religion with their philosophy. And so if you're
Made-
already
and made
if
it
you're
seem
already
like-
a Christian,
Right. And
the way they made it seem was like
their thing,
yeah,
they were going to paradise
Right.
here on earth.
right.
Okay, so what did those folks preacher do wrong, or that they should stop believing? I guess that's
I
probably.
don't think it was a matter of them stopping to believe.
Well,
I
yeah.
think it was a matter of they saw something a little bit different, which they perceived to be better than where they were at that point.
Right, until they got there.
Oh, okay. So
It was an idea that was planted in their head that, oh, I can leave the turmoil and the BS around the United States.
Right. Remember the people
And
we're
we
talking
can go to a whole nother country, have our own little compound in that country, and live a
happily.
better life, supposedly.
And
then,
I
you
don't
know,
have to
yeah.
put up with all the stuff here in this housing project.
Right.
There's people running around naked trying to kill people. There's all kind of crap going
Right.
on. All of that's going to be gone.
no, and I know what you're saying. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
You know,
But the whole thing is,
the thing about religion. This
right,
is how.
but the whole thing is, humans are very easily manipulated.
by choice.
Exactly. That's what manipulation is. You make them think it's your idea, or you
Yeah.
make them think my idea is so much better than anything you can come up with.
Yes. So
But that's what they do. That's what we do. I guess I'm part of it.
yeah, yeah.
I'm part of that human thing, but yeah.
I mean, one of the things that upsets me, not with the whole Republican Party. Some of them have, I believe in with some of their stuff, but the far right ones whose Bible used to teach slaves, because they're still trying to protect slavery. The far right, they're still trying to protect slavery. Their Bible used to teach slaves is you have a duty to obey your master. You were born to be a slave. Is that in your Bible? Is that in the Quran? Is that in anybody else's Bible? But
That's
this
made
is,
up to manipulate.
you know, this is how, I do have a point. They use religion not to be Christ-like, right? But to, in this case, protect slavery. To make them feel good about their racist
What they were
ways.
doing.
Yeah, and make them feel what you are the one in the
Hateful.
middle. You're not the extremist. It's the ones way over there that want to change the way things are. We're fine with the way we want to change things are. No, we want you to teach like history a little bit better. No, we don't want to. Let's just let what happened in the past stay. But we don't want our children to feel bad. If we teach them the truth, they may feel bad.
Right.
They may realize they got where they are because a great grandfather, blah blah blah, who stole
the
property from my great grandfather
the colonizer
legally. So.
Well, it's going to be legal if you make the rules. If you make the rules, you can make whatever you want legal.
You know, so I mean, it's like, and the other thing too, I don't agree that with all the different religions there are, how can you say one religion is wrong? Or if you're going to say it, don't stop. Just keep going. And don't stop because it feels uncomfortable. Stop saying it.
Because it's not popular.
But
that opinion is not popular, and then the powers that be that may have any kind of control over that area of religion or whatever it is can act. It's just like when that guy wrote the book about Muhammad, and they chased him for 20 years.
Yeah.
Because he said some of the things in the book that he was saying they totally disagreed with, and then I don't know if it was
Rushdie, was that it?
Salman
Rushdie.
Salman Rushdie.
Yeah, but I think I know the guy.
But yeah, and they chased him around the world. I mean, he kept going to different places seeking asylum. And that was just because he didn't do anything personally to them, but their beliefs. He tried to cast doubt in their minds on their beliefs, and through their beliefs, he had to go.
Yeah. Didn't they try to kill him last year?
Oh, and by the way, there's a movement about them people. He was talking about the slavery and everything. It's no longer slavery. It's involuntary relocation.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to join that movement because I believe it was involuntary. I mean,
we know it was involuntary with slavery,
yeah.
But I'm just saying that's how they try to clean up things that they did wrong.
Well,
so they're trying to clean it up. Well, it doesn't sound, slavery, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But no, involuntary relocation, that sounds a little bit more like a field trip.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it was a field trip.
Yeah, and they spent a lot of time in the field. She ain't said a word.
Yeah.
Well, but also they came over from, they went from Africa to the Caribbean to here. That's a field trip. And they learned things along the way. You know what I mean?
They learned pain and suffering and starvation and a whole bunch of things they might not have learned.
And they learned how to say massa.
Well, like my good friend Luther Lyle told me once, you can get a horse to deal cards if you stick a hot poker up his ass. So, is that a learning process or is that a survival process?
I think it's a little bit of both.
I think it's because you're taken completely out of your cultural.
The way you frame things.
Situation.
Yeah, I was about to stop you and say I don't know where the joke is coming, but wrap that up because you talk about slavery. You sound like you're about to make a joke about it. It's like it was not a field trip. It was like okay, where is your landing point with this?
It's just like, hey, when you take somebody and you make them work for you for nothing,
and you profit off,
that's
what
you profit off. That's simple slavery, but there's no dressing that up, and there's no.
I mean, they want to dress it up.
But no, that's what I'm saying. That's why they don't want to teach it. Because it'll make their little kid feel their little
I say, fuck them kids.
Now,
shit, who cares?
What about their feelings?
What about
them? Well, I guess when you make a blanket statement, they don't want to teach it because they don't want the little kiddies to feel bad. What about the kiddies that have to feel bad now?
Wait a minute. I don't know when you first became acquainted with with slavery. I don't know when that first entered your conscious mind, what grade you were in or anything like But I remember when I was right around the first grade, and there was an old Confederate flag and an old gray Confederate uniform at my friend's house that they had gotten, but it came down from back then. And that was my first time knowing anything about it. My first clue that there was something amiss.
Okay, at the friend's house, was it a white friend
It was
or
a black friend. It's a black friend. And when I say it came down through the ages,
Sure.
they owned the property they were on, so they got that property today. So it came back from slavery days. So that I never went through the history of how they got it or anything.
There was a lot of black troops in the Confederate Army.
But-
would you
but-
rather be
but-
in the Army or out
But they
in the
pointed
fields?
out that that flag and that uniform were not good things for us as Negroes. And that's when I said, I'm a Negro. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you broke it into two. So these were black people with Confederate flags, and they owned stuff.
and a Confederate
Is that
uniform.
like the normal, or is that a exception?
I did not know then. I didn't know then.
Well, you're like 6
And-
years old, 5, 6 years old, so there's a lot, you know.
Right.
Okay,
Although, I mean,
that
you
kind
know,
of helps clean up some of it for me, because you saw that, and you saw that associated with back then
Something.
colors,
Yeah.
and you did not associate that with slaves getting beat.
I had
or-
no
Okay,
clue.
okay, but that's what I was
Yeah,
saying
you're
about.
5, 6 years
So yeah,
I
that,
see how you frame things.
I'm about to say. Then my question to you would be: so this was at black people's house, and you were told that this ain't good for black people. So what do you think about them black people?
and
If
why-
they had something that wasn't good for black people,
and
what
why
were
are
your
they-
thoughts?
And why are they displaying it?
Well, they weren't necessarily displaying it. I just saw it. I mean, this is a place where
Well,
where my
Where you
me and
couldn't
my
see it.
2 younger siblings and their kids, they had kids that were parallel to us in age, and that's where we hung out. That's where our parents hung out. So it wasn't. They were more like family than anything else.
So they didn't have Civil War
And-
discussions. You just, as a child, just happened to run across
Right.
it like in a
Right.
locker or
And,
something.
and they started to explain some things, but that didn't mean I got it.
So what? I mean, how you were like 6? You're saying?
Yeah,
First
whatever.
grade.
First grade, second.
So
grade.
how did they explain it, or try to explain it, or how did you interpret, or did you even interpret, or how did you take how they tried to explain that?
Or did they?
Because
Or-
I haven't had that experience, so
or
this
did
is
you,
interesting
or
to me.
did you even question it?
I did look. I didn't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't
so
know. I
you
didn't. I
wouldn't-
didn't know what to question other than I like the color.
How much time we got?
You guys got about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Excellent.
So yeah. So I mean,
But see, that's whenever you were in school at that point where they said, okay, here's the Civil War. Why did they fight the Civil War? And on and on and on.
yeah.
But that's not in like first grade. That's
Right.
more.
That's more like 5th grade, 6th
More,
grade.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the thing is, there was a lot of young black people that didn't really know anything about slavery until
right.
you know
And-
they were
and-
older, like in 6th grade or then junior high when
But things
history,
came
you know.
up.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
things would come up that would make you wonder. Like me, the thing that made me wonder was there was a black newspaper called the Afro American Journal, I believe, out of Maryland.
Yeah.
We got those in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my question was, I'm like 1st grade, 2nd grade. I'm like, so why do we have these? Why are there Negro newspapers?
Why do we have to have Negro?
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
fair question.
Why is everything separate? Why do all
Yeah.
the little white kids go to school over there and all of us little black
Well,
kids
I
go to
didn't
school
even
over
question
here?
that.
Yeah.
I didn't even question
I
that
did.
because it was
Yeah.
with me it was more like everybody everybody that I seen that I would equate with being normal, except for on television, everybody was black. The
Well,
doctors,
yeah, sure.
the cab drivers, the bus
If you
drivers,
live- you
the
live-
grocery,
yeah,
I mean everything.
Right.
But that there again, after you get older and you realize that, oh, the reason why everybody was black is because, oh, whites over here, blacks over here.
Yeah, but I didn't realize any of that until we came out here.
Oh
Right.
I realized it really soon in New Orleans, not a problem. Plus my grandfather was a Garveyite.
Well, it
Oh.
wasn't like everything wasn't separate. It was, but it's just that in my mind,
Definitely wasn't equal.
Yeah.
it
Sure.
didn't make any sense until
Sure.
I came out here and I said, oh,
As a child and as you grow up that way. It's like my daughter went to college in Richmond, Virginia, and she was tripping because everybody in the inner city that was doing everything was black.
Yeah.
But then you get on the outskirts and you start seeing more and more white people. And even though, like, you go to the mall, okay, you see white people in the mall and black people in there interacting and stuff. But then when you get back into the inner city,
Yeah.
the bus drivers, the cab drivers, the doctors, the nurses,
Yeah.
the pharmacists, everybody was black. And she had not experienced that being born and raised here. So it wasn't really a culture shock. I mean, she was aware of
It's
it.
an eye opener though.
But once you experience it, it's a whole lot different than people telling you about it.
Right.
Me telling her, like, yeah, well, back in the day, you know, we drank out of this shitty water fountain and we had to ride in the back of the bus and all that stuff. I was a little kid when I was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, then you go back to when me and your daughter were kids, and
Right.
they still had shitty water fountains. Anybody could use them.
Sure.
They were just all shitty.
No,
and
but the
and
whole
we
thing
chose
is-
to sit in the back of the bus. So it's
No,
terrible.
but the whole thing.
We did too.
That's the whole thing.
Act a bigger fool.
That's the whole thing. We
Yep.
had a shitty water fountain, but the white folks had a water cooler.
Oh, see,
Get out of
yeah,
here.
that-
Bitch.
They got it's all a little chrome on it and everything, and you push it in the water, it's ice cold. Our water was whatever temperature the water was, that's what it was.
How hot was the sun that day?
You know, and then you know, like we used to sit in the back of the bus because guess what? It's a better ride.
Yeah.
However, in those days, you were forced to sit in the back of the bus because of the segregation.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the whole thing. And it's like, you know, there was like young black kids had no real sense of self-identity, or you know what I'm saying? It was like they were segregating themselves, light-skinned blacks and dark-skinned blacks.
Yes, we have that real bad.
Ooh,
Even today, you go down to HBCU, well, we still have that bad. We can't break that light skin, dark skin.
Spike Lee movie School Days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact,
That's based on reality. It's a true
my,
story.
My family, same thing. My grandmother, old school. My first cousin, Bobby. I have now he wasn't the only light skinned one, but he was a light skinned one out here. Boy, talk about prejudice.
yeah.
Ooh,
Against your own race.
against your own family.
You know. And well,
Yeah.
because I've experienced that too.
I think
You know?
that movie, One Night in Miami, that Regina King directed, about Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and
Right.
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was just an amazing movie for its dialogue. They had so many conversations that I think black people need to have. But one in particular that stood out after, you know, they having all these arguments, again, brilliantly written. Sam Cooke and Muhammad Ali leave the room, and Malcolm X is sitting there, you know, kind of crying, and Jim Brown sits down, and he says, you know, I find it interesting that the most militant cats be you light skinned boys. He's like, nah, you WD Du Bois. He named all these people. He was like, all you consequences be damn Negroes be the light skinned ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Malcolm's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't see color. We are all brothers and sisters. And Jim Brown said, now don't certainly talk to me like I'm stupid.
Right.
He was like, when them white folks go away, the dark skins go over here, and them light skins, they get it worse from brothers sometimes than the white boys. So yeah, it's a very real thing.
In fact, Spike Lee was so serious about it when he was filming it. He had the dark-skinned sisters stay in a shitty hotel, and he had the light-skinned ones because he wanted to get he was trying to
Build that animosity.
yeah. I mean,
whole thing,
drag that out of you.
And that's exactly that's exactly what was going on in the 50s.
Yeah.
When I was a child, but the whole thing is I was in a different space
Yeah.
than the other little kids who was, if you black step back, if you brown stick around,
Or if you're white, you're all right. And you hear that from little black kids. If you're white, you're all right.
and little black kids.
Speaking of being all right, we've come to that time.
Wait,
brothers.
real quick. I'm not gonna get my rant in this week because my brother David Dudley here
Had another
tripped me
rant.
up. But I got something for you old folks and you young folks. Let's see.
What you got? What you
Okay,
got?
you ready? Okay, you ready? Don't yell out the answer if you know what it is.
Oh, is this a standardized test?
I don't want to call it a test.
Okay. Do I need a number 2 pencil? Oh yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Test tube, baby.
I said don't call it out.
You remember? You see one of those?
I'm not in person, but
Okay, give me full frame.
Okay,
Let me know
hold
about
on.
Full frame.
all right. There we go.
I remember those.
Test tube. Some of y'all was born like that. Don't get it twisted. Are you good?
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay. If I can stop shaking. Anybody remember one of those? At the end, we'll tell you what it is. Or should I tell them now?
I don't
I'll tell them now. In the old days, television had tubes. And we would take the tubes out and take them down to the drugstore and test them on this kind of
There
machine
used to be
For your TV.
for your TV.
there used to be a vocation called television repair. Now you're just thrown away. But oh yeah,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Let's see what we
Mr.
got.
Producer?
Come over this way.
I've had to pull some of my
I've seen them, but I don't
I've had
know.
to
Okay.
pull some of my little cousins out. They're like,
Full frame.
Yep, you good.
Any guesses? That's called a ringer washing machine.
gosh.
And this part here, our grandmother, used to take the clothes out and run them through the rollers by hand. That's how she would squeeze the water out.
And then you squeeze the water out. Well, you didn't have to wring them before you put them on the line.
And that was high technology.
And then clothespins,
And the lines going across the...
What?
Okay, ready? Booyah!
Oh, wow. You need a big old box to put that in.
Remember that?
Furniture.
Ever seen one of these?
Uh,
And you frowned on your face, tells it all.
maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of look like a headlight, but I don't know.
Okay. In a sense, it's
Or is it the TV? Is it the tube of a TV?
the picture
Yeah.
tube.
Yeah.
That's the picture
Okay.
tube.
All them other little tubes supported that one.
Oh yeah. Now that's your free history lesson.
And they always tell you, don't go take the back off of the TV. Well, there was a reason for that.
So some of y'all contact the producer and let him know. Say, yeah, you know what? Do you know about blah blah blah? And
There you go.
we'll share it.
We could add that as a segment. Do history lesson. Something quick.
Yeah. By the way, there's still phone booths on Whidbey Island.
Don't give it away. Yep.
They're there, and I think that's think that's about the only place around that has more than one, or like it's a display. I was at a bar, and it came up, and I went, "Isn't that a?" And he goes, "Yep, that's one."
Yep.
It's in a bar in White Center,
So,
but
it's time to get up out of here. Thank you for joining us for another stimulating old black men/man conversation. Because I wasn't talking to myself, but it could have been him, could have been him, could have been him. I'm David H. Dudley III, aka Sweet Sunny. See you next time.
And I'm Cliff Barnes, the real Cliff Barnes, and tell your friends and tune in again.
Yes. And if you like us, send money. If you send too much, we'll send it back.
He lied on the last line.
Or not.
Side.
Or not.
We'll find a way to use it.
Peace.